right, welcome. Here we are with official selection screenwriter Erica Brock, whose screenplay HashBrown is an official selection at Sherman Oaks Film Festival 2020. And she is going to tell us about her script. So please go right ahead.
So my script is a 1950s period piece about college art students who are on their own for their first time. So they are experiencing all types of freedom. And so they're experiencing experimentation with sex and drugs and with freedom and with their art. And it kind of talks about how that kind of sends them for a downward spiral towards the end.
Oh, so it goes to a dark place.
It goes to a pretty dark place. Yeah, the ending isn't the happiest of endings.
But it starts off so it's in the 50s, so it sort of has a beatnik vibe?
Yeah, absolutely. That was a big inspiration for it, for sure. Especially like a lot of the beat poets, I've loved them. I was a poet before I was a screenwriter, and so I drew a lot of inspiration from that.
And as far as screenwriting goes, was it your love of beat poetry that made you jump into this one, or are you a screenwriter who pumps out a couple scripts a year?
Definitely wouldn't say a couple scripts a year, because I feel like I'm producing and directing and doing all these other things too. Obviously that's the goal, but yeah, I think, definitely like that poetry was my first love, and then like really doing research on their lives and what it meant to be an artist, and like whether that's good or bad, I felt like I could relate to it in a lot of regard. And so I wanted to kind of bring that to light. And even though it's a 1950s piece, I think it can relate to a lot of artists today, and kind of what they're going through. And the idea was to take that vulnerability and take that those things that people maybe aren't the most proud of, but still need to be talked about, and bring those to light and kind of connect artists and connect creative people from there.
Great. So it sounds like even though it's a period piece, you're as equally inspired by life today as trying to pay tribute to a time in the past.
I think creatives, now and 50 years ago and 100 years ago and 200 years ago, all kind of experienced that same type of inner struggle, whether it just be with themselves or with society or with their friends. And so, while this does take place in the 50s, it's kind of timeless in terms of its theme.
Sounds like it. And around when did you start it and when did you complete it?
So I started it probably the beginning of 2019, and I completed it in around December 2019. So it took me about a year. Of course, that, is writing and rewriting and editing and changing things and then changing things back and then rearranging things. So yeah, it took me about a year for the entire process.
And you finished it up before any global pandemic hit. So it's
Yes.
it's pure of that.
It is pure of the global pandemic, yes, right before that hit. So, yeah.
Fantastic. That's great to hear. And I didn't get to read it, but I guess the HashBrown, the hash is hashish?
It's a drug reference.
Yeah, I would think.
Yeah.
That's cool. So it's a 1950s. Well, obviously the beatniks were really into drugs.
Absolutely. And so are these characters, of course.
And as you know, here in California, it's all legal now. So hey.
I know. I'm gonna come to California.
I guess Denver's closer, or whatever, Colorado's closer, but
yeah.
Well, before we go, anything else you wanted to mention about yourself or the script?
No, I'm just super excited to have it be a part of Sherman Oaks, and I hope that maybe I can encounter Sherman Oaks again post-pandemic.
That'd be fantastic. When you fingers crossed, I'll light a secret candle that you will go into principal photography next year, and hopefully you'll have a great experience, and nothing that sets you back a few months, and you'll be submitting it to festivals, including ours, sometime.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
Thank you. It was a pleasure.
You too. All right. Have a good one.
You too.